Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. How are your Christmas plans going? I'm living at smug.com tonight because I've just done all my Christmas shopping in 30 minutes and no, Amazon are not on strike here in Europe. Graham just saw the news and said Amazon's on strike just as I put the last order in, and I thought, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me, because I've been around the Spanish shops today. And I don't know what's going on. Maybe some of you guys can tell me. Has Vladimir Putin bombed somewhere or nuked somebody? Because our local supermarket around the corner has been out of everything for about 2 or 3 weeks. I go up to Carrefour, which here it's the one we've got here in La Linea. It's like the food halls. It's really expensive. No turkeys, only little chickens. Very little stock in the way of anything. In fact, Graham, they've removed all the washing machines, household appliances. They're all gone. Yeah. Not that many flat screen TVs. What the hell is going on, guys?
It must have been sold out.
So then, what was that? What's the best way to get to? Oh, avid@gardener.com. Although I confess, guys, I have not checked my emails in about a week. So I'm a bit behind on that again. Yeah, so I go into Jib, went to Eroski, and that's the other thing. There's hardly anybody in the supermarkets. It's the build up to Christmas. Am I missing something? Outer limits. Well, yeah, other people in the house. Yes, we've got 2 other people in the house tonight. Benjamin's gone off with his girlfriend and his mates somewhere, but he will be back. And what we're going to do on Christmas Day is, when the table's all done, I'll just spin this round so you can all see us sitting. We won't eat in front of you, though. We won't be that rude, but then we'll all be together. So yeah, anybody know what's going on? Is it like that in the UK or anywhere where you guys are? Because down here, and it's not normally like this. Normally it's nearly got beaten up by a Spanish granny only 2 weeks ago. I think I might have told you that story. It was bedlam up at Carrefour. They had a Santa Claus, Santa's Grotto. And oh my God, it was like that film with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he was trying to get the last doll. And Graham pulled into a parking space, and they're few and far between that night. And the woman behind him beeped, and the car in front pulled out. So he just pulled into the space. Well, this granny got out of the car with the handbag swinging and everything, you bastardo. And we were like, oh, she's like, really old lady. Don't want to get into a fight with us. We just went off. She went and brought the police. The police turned up like someone's been murdered. And we're just standing there going, well, what can we do? She's an elderly lady. And they pretty quickly got a lick of it and went, right. And they explained to her, madam, we can't arrest people because you wanted the parking space. So, but then I go up there today thinking, it's probably going to be chaos, and nothing of the sort. Nothing like that happening here. There will be, because you've got Amazon on strike, apparently, in America. It's only the American Amazon. And just before Christmas as well. Right, what's it? Trevor Coult's in the chat. Good evening, Trevor. Graham's always eating. Yeah, I bought him crumpets at Carrefour. They've got a freezer section with UK treats, and he's partial to the odd crumpet. So I got him one of them. Oh, yes, I must say hello to some of the sugars who've been complaining bitterly about my lives. Bitterly, bitterly. There are rules, ladies and gentlemen. The rule of the sugar. We are not allowed to discuss Lilibet or Archie because they are now private citizens. Well, I beg to differ. Last time I checked the royal website, their names were still in the line of succession, sugars. This is the deal. If you don't want anybody talking about those children, she's got to drop the titles and remove them from the line of succession. They're not private children when they are on that website. Your ruler and master, Meghan Markle, fucking well knows that and has known that from the very beginning. And I know this to be a fact because I'm certain she watched The Princess Diaries. So she'll know all the rules. Julie Andrews will have explained it to her, won't she?
Yes, I would imagine so. And that fellow that said they left a message, I was reading it on, I've got the television on there. Said, how can I get in touch with that? It was Joe Carey. He's the guy that left that letter for you.
Okay.
I'll let you explain why you don't want to get in touch with him.
Well, I've got your number on the letter. We did find the letter. Very Scarlet Pimpernel. How exciting. Artificial and Lillibucks are warm and sleeping in their Amazon boxes. Well, what can I say? Sugars, Elk just broke the law of the sugars. You're going to suffer consequences for that. I'm not quite sure what consequences come of that. But don't they love to lay down the law? I saw another General Sugar today on Twitter telling some other people to lay off our daughter because there are bigger fish to fry. And that's not what they're all getting organised for. So they are fucking sugars after all, aren't they? Well, some of these people are. I think actually even the sugars come along sometimes and go, oh my God, what the hell are you saying there? So yes, we mustn't break the laws of Twitter, must we? They are allowed to do and say what they like. But don't you, any of you, be saying and thinking what you like. I don't.
Victims ever criticise your trolls. It's against Twitter rules. You'll be banned.
Yes. I don't think the people of the United Kingdom would care if the children, if they weren't in the line of succession. Exactly, Amy. Exactly. No one would give a toss.
Yes, I think it's fair to talk about people that are in the line of succession there.
Oh, well, they've been full of it today, saying, Fiona and Graham and Trevor, they say don't talk about their kids. No, what we say is don't purchase birth certificates. I haven't purchased Archie Betts or Lily Fishel or whatever they're called. I haven't purchased their birth certificates. In fact, I don't think Archie Bett has
got one.
He's got one, but I think his mother says Duchess of Sussex. Whereas my children both have Jacqueline Susan Mayhew, which was my legal name at the time they were born. It's unique. And I don't think anyone in this community has ever threatened to kill either of those children or taken the piss out of them or made any sexual references about them and all the things that they like to do. And none of our children, I repeat, are in the line of succession. So cover your ears, ladies and gentlemen. Sugars, fuck off. Right. Let's get back to it. How are all your Christmas plans going? Oh, yes, so I've got all the presents, almost all the presents. And I got the turkey. That's the big thing. Got the turkey across the border. Elk, yes. The longer the royal family allows them in the line of succeed. Well, yes. Yes. I mean, God forbid, right? I just want to put a scenario by you guys. Let's say everyone above Archie Bett and Lily Fishel, something happened to them. Suddenly we've got an King Archie Bett. What happens then? Answers in the comments, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I mean, being in the line of succession is something to talk about, I suppose, if you wanted to.
Well, I'll talk about what I bloody well like. I don't know.
We do talk about the monarchy, and there's been lots of monarchs, hasn't there? Since 1895, there's been 7 monarchs. Ding, ding, ding. What's the relevance of 1895? I hear you say, well, you'll find out soon. I bought a time machine.
Is that my Christmas present?
No.
I dread to think what's under the Christmas tree this year. I really do. Shauna, yes, I love Shauna. Vintage read with Andrew Lowney and about Prince Andrew, the traitor king. Yes, I love Shauna. She's great fun, and I like her snarky snippets. In fact, there's a wealth of talent on YouTube. A wealth. I did watch Steph the Alter Nerd's video about Omid Scobie's rather demeaning and rude tweet about us YouTubers being royal experts. I thought she spoke very eloquently on behalf of all of us. The royal family should apply Queen Margarita solution and only endow the first strand of succession with titles. Well, that's a sort of constitutional thing. I'll tell you what I think it might be with the title thing. Stripping people, if you get one member of the royal family applying to strip the title from another, they might think, if I set a precedent, there but for the grace of God go I. So they're all in this sort of club, aren't they? Where they're we'd like to do that.
Should the royal family still acknowledge them with having them in the line of succession? And once they've gone and disappeared off it, so they don't want to be royal anymore. Goodbye. Wish you luck abroad. Cheerio. Then that's it, isn't it? You don't need to talk about them anymore.
A California king.
Bring themselves to your attention.
Well, Lauren, your country did have a king. I think Memphis. Was it Memphis? The king lived?
Oh, Elvis.
Yes, he was the king. And you had a duke.
Was it Prince? It was a prince, and then Michael Jackson was the king as well, wasn't he?
No, I don't think Jacko was ever king.
Was he the king of rock and roll after Elvis? I don't know.
There's a prince formerly known as, but I can't remember the guy's name now.
Purple Rain. That was Prince. He was called Prince.
Yeah, he was adored, and he was American, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the duke. Now, where was the duke born?
You mean
John
Wayne?
The
I
duke.
thought he was Irish American. I don't know if he was born in America, but I'm pretty sure he was Irish American.
In fact, let's talk about American royalty, because you guys have had quite a lot. Jackie O, for a start.
There's what's her name? Julie Montague. She's
Julie Montague.
She's from where's she from?
Oh, is it Chicago?
Chicago.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Illinois or something. I can't remember, but yeah, she's married to the aristocracy. She does some really good programs.
She's fabulous.
I watch loads of her stuff.
Well,
because she's married to the Earl or whatever he's called, the Viscount. She gets access to other Viscounts around the country and visits their stately homes and talks about the history. And Meghan could have done all that. He would have had a bigger key to get into more places, but no. Oh, no, thanks.
No, we're fine, thank you. I've done very well
today. Full of crumpets.
I haven't eaten anything at all today, and I'm going to keep it that way until tomorrow. I'm eating every other day and doing my 5 minutes Pilates, and it's doing the trick. Yes, American royalty. There's Rita Hayworth, married. I can't remember who she married. It sounds like a European count. Barbara Hutton, I think, married European royalty.
Was American. Winston Churchill's mother was American.
She was, yes. In fact, that's quite traditional. So with Hinchinbrook, who you're talking about, in the old days, like Downton Abbey, quite often the aristos would take an American bride who was an heiress. So we have lots of American blood.
Because they couldn't afford to fix a roof once they abolished the slave trade.
Wasn't Nancy Astor American?
Yes, she was, I think.
Yes, I think so.
The Astors, they had Hever Castle at one time.
They were, supreme. Grace Kelly, of course, everybody.
Yep.
Grace Kelly. Oh, I loved Grace. I loved her. Hi, you two. I have to drive again today. Fred just wants to get out, so I will listen later. Okay, Linda. Rita married Ali Khan, a king. I didn't know that. It didn't work out, did it? But yes, Grace Kelly, Susan, of course, Grace. Who can forget? And I tell you what, when you go to Monaco, the people who live there, they absolutely adore Grace. She is on all the tea towels. If any of you have been there, it's Grace Kelly here, Grace Kelly Monument, Grace Kelly, Grace Kelly, Grace Kelly.
Theatre. Pictures of her everywhere.
I have not watched much of Cheery Denise, but I'm aware. I must look her up. She looks lovely. I saw a little bit of her. Cheery Denise has gone through a couple of Kennedy books. Great content. I have seen Jackie up close and met her daughter Caroline. How wonderful! Oh, wonderful! I think Jackie and Grace, they're neck and neck for me. Those two ladies. They're the iconic ones. They're the ones everybody remembers. And I'll tell you one that no one's going to remember, and that's Meghan. Well, people will remember her. But I don't think she'll be on any tea.
There'll be the odd documentary about her and the goings on, because they don't tell us the goings on, do they? At the time, you don't know about it. I mean, they keep the public mainly in the dark. And it's only years after everyone's dead that someone makes a documentary and says what really went on.
And we all watch it.
It's like David. We watch loads of documentaries, don't we, on Edward VIII and Mrs. Simpson. And the British public were kept right in the dark the whole time. They didn't tell them anything at the time. Nothing.
Right, Graham, question on Baron channel near the top of the chat. It's important. Are you serious, Ria? We've got to go to the top of the chat.
I can't go now. It's going out on my channel as well.
Oh, I see. Right.
I will. Could you copy paste it for me, please, Ria? Is that possible? On here, and then I can see it.
Jackie's sister married a duke in the UK. Yes, her sister was Lee, wasn't she? I didn't know that Rita Hayworth's daughter was a princess. Now there you go. There you go. Any more American royalty you guys can name, even if they weren't royalty, if they're like the Duke and Elvis, because you guys do. You have iconic characters that are on a par with our British royal family. Worldwide names. Let's make some comparisons because Meghan said, "Oh, she's like the first person."
A-listers are like Hollywood A-listers are like the American equivalent of royalty, aren't they?
Yeah.
They often fall from grace, don't they? At times
they seem to be dropping like flies from grace these days.
Some of them just stay there. Can't see
anything.
We're in Streamyard, you see. We can't see the channels.
Oh, right, yeah,
so
yeah.
Hopefully it comes up here. No.
Foxy's in there. I just discovered your channel a few days ago. I love your content and how you cover Hank and Skank. Welcome aboard, Susan. Welcome aboard, a fellow Earthling. Peace out and all that. Nancy Astor's husband was an American. The Astor brothers fell out. One came to live in the UK. I must read Ask Not the Kennedys and the Women They Destroyed by Maureen Callahan. Well, have you guys seen the documentary and the recordings of Marilyn, her last night? And I can't remember if they said it was both Kennedy brothers that went round or just one Kennedy brother. And there was quite a to-do and a lot of shouting, and they were looking for a little book that she had or something. Great mystery around Marilyn's death. Great mystery. Now, I always remember Jackie gave an interview to some journalist and she'd had a couple of martinis, and she said, when all of her surviving children are dead, when all her children are dead, her book will be released and she will tell the truth about everything that happened. I remember seeing that in the 80s and I thought,
who ordered that one?
I'm not sure what you mean, Jackie. What could you possibly mean? So that's one to look out for, isn't it? Because, of course, Caroline's still alive, her poor brother. But, yeah, so we'll just have to see. We'll all have to hang out there. Just if you can click comment.
Gary Chatbot says Michael Jackson was the king of pop. He was very popular. He was very good.
They did refer to him as the king of pop.
They did. But they always referred to Elvis, didn't they, as the king?
Oh, right. I see. It's a mod situation because how many channels are you beaming out on?
My channels.
Right. Just the mods are spread a bit thin.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys.
Don't worry about it, guys. Yeah, it's.
We used a bad language and abuse around here, so it's really more if the people in the comments are getting abused. That's the bit that we worry about. Don't worry about us. We've heard it all, haven't we?
Most of it. It's always something new pops up there, isn't it?
I see today I'm still a prostitute, apparently. I mean, I can't imagine what sort of guy that's not really like me.
All means I'm Graham from Liverpool.
What an imagination some of these people have. What kills me is the way Muggs dresses her American daughter. The kid looks ridiculous in her fluffy dress and knee socks. That kid is going to be bullied if she goes to school. Well, I have to say, the late Princess Diana was prone to putting poor Prince William and Harry in what appeared to me little frilly girls' dresses. I mean, I've seen William cringe on more than one occasion.
As much as I like Princess Diana, she wore some pretty weird clothes at times.
She did in the early days, and the children.
Oh, dear.
I mean, they did, but I mean, that's a royal thing.
As she got older, she got much better.
We can cut Meggsy a bit of slack there, and that's if there's those kids in the picture. And I mean, no one can see their faces anyway. It's always the back of their head, isn't it? As Trevor said, running away. I'm a bit late. Took the grandchildren to see the Christmas lights. Fantastic. Are you all getting in the Christmas mood now? Those Americans, how dare they don't get us royals? Oh, I think you'll find in America, they do royalty better than we do, especially in Boston, New England, old money. Oh boy. And I'm sure some Americans in the chat can tell you all about it. Yeah, Foxy's bombing the comments here. No problem, Foxy, bomb away. And you, very, very lovely Christmas to everybody. We're going to crack out the Glenfiddich in a little bit, but not just yet.
I've had one already.
The clothes look great on Charlotte. Yes. The thing is, the girls, royal girls, they look better when they're really little, than the boys. But I guess it's just a thing. Hi, Lady Jillybean. I remember mums being shocked at Di wearing long skirts without an underskirt. Really? I mean, I think people...
Remember that photo they got of her with it?
Oh, yes, I know.
The sun shining between her legs. I mean, was asking for it. It didn't make that mistake.
I think the whole royal family thought that was quite funny, though. Charles thought it was funny.
Did he?
Yes.
That surprises me.
They were... Come to think of it, I mean, back in those days, they were still quite stiff and uptight when it comes to the royal family. I mean, that whole reason for Diana and Charles getting married, they only met each other 13 times before. He felt duty bound. She felt duty bound.
He was pressured.
I think
It's time, Charles. Stop messing about. We need an heir.
Yes.
Get on with it. And he couldn't marry Camilla because she was already married. So
it is a shame.
I think they forced Diana. He just picked her and said, "Yeah, she'll do."
I think initially she was up for it, dead up for it.
Yeah, I mean, show me a woman that wouldn't be up for it. I suppose most of them would. There will be some that won't. But most girls would have. I'll marry the Prince of Wales.
She had to have an examination the night before the wedding. I mean, they don't do that anymore, do they? Do they?
I don't know. I mean, it's that sort of thing went back centuries, didn't it? I'd only marry a virgin.
Funny, going back to celebrity, beyond their work, I don't really understand what they have to offer. At least the royals are embedded in legitimate political system. Well, they're not really. I'll tell you someone that springs to mind with you saying that, Bling, is Audrey Hepburn, who was a lovely lady. That was Hollywood royalty. And she did so much charity work, genuine charity work. And she was golden era Hollywood. Was she British or American? Because
I don't think she was British. It was.
She had quite a British accent, didn't she? Or do they call it?
Someone said Bob Hope was British, but I don't think he was.
Yes, he was. He was.
He?
I remember when I was a kid, he came back to the UK to visit the place of his birth, and everybody went. Everyone was like, "Oh, Bob Hope, Bob Hope." Now there you go. There's another one. Bing and Bob. That's Hollywood royalty. Has anybody seen Bob Hope's house? On the internet, go look it up on YouTube. Bob Hope's house. It's unbelievable.
Out of this world.
Yeah, it's like an alien structure, like something out of Robbie the Robot. It's gorgeous, although it does look a bit drafty, like the wind would go right through it.
It would, but it must have been a warm
catching
place.
Foxy. Foxy must be every other comment at the moment. Oh, there he is again. My daughter wore knee socks when she was little. We live in South California. I also grew up wearing them, so I'm a bit confused why there are comments against a little girl in M's picture. Yeah, my sister wore knee-high socks. I can't really, I don't think I did. I think my socks were like calf height, below the knee. That was typical, wasn't it?
Kim Ray says, "I love British accents." Do you know what threw me? What was that woman called? The American. I thought she was British. She had such a convincing British accent.
Who's that? I was watching that Gillian Anderson last night. Now, I don't know if Gillian is actually British. She was.
I can't think of her name.
She was in that Alien show, wasn't she? Scully. She played Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
In The Crown.
Yeah.
Well, I've been watching her on this TV series that quite an old one where she's a detective. My God, that woman's got the most.
Diary of something. Diary of. She was in that with that fella who was in the. Can't remember. Back
Well, you've got to give us a
remember
clue,
it.
Graham. Come on. How many syllables?
Diary of. Well, I don't know.
Let's do
If I knew the syllables, I'd be able to remember her name. She's got blonde hair.
Blonde hair, right, good. And anything else?
Yeah, she knitted her boyfriend a Christmas jersey. The guy who's always Mr. Darcy and shit like that, you know?
What era are we talking here?
80s, 90s.
1980s it was made, or is it a period drama?
It was just a film that was on the.
She knitted her.
I'm sure it was called The Diary of Someone or Other.
Oh, you're talking
The
about
massive knickers.
Renee Zellweger,
Renee Zellweger.
Bridget Jones.
Bridget Jones.
Yes.
I was convinced that woman was British.
Yes.
Her accent was perfect.
And a wonderful Christmas to you too. Mulder and Scully. Yeah, I mean, her British accent, I don't know if she is actually British. I know she's married to the guy who made the series The Crown, isn't she? And I think he's British. But it's just phenomenal. No comment against the little girl. She's being dressed like an American Girl doll. Wow. Is there any? She's being dressed like a doll. Does anyone remember Cabbage Patch Dolls? Oh, and I repeat for the benefit of the sugars, cough. No one cares what you think. Literally, no one cares.
Nobody cares. Go away.
Play catch up. Go
When
find
you're ready to address it in your own name,
Oh,
by all means, come and say.
The sugars have started an anti-popcorn family now. There isn't words to describe the cowards who hide behind a keyboard. Faith has more strength of character in her little finger. Yes. Oh, she was attacked today because she dared to appear on the live. That is the law of the troll. She has got to hide away now for the rest of her life. I think the troll's in for a bit of nasty shock tomorrow. Wink, wink, but we won't say more.
Yeah.
Poor Andy. I am sorry for him and his family. But the only thing I can say from our point of view is everybody gets to see it. And it does Megan no favours. Certainly not going to make her popular. In fact, I was thinking today, guys, seeing as old Omid Scobie has reared his head again, I'm thinking, is old Megsy fallen out with everybody, so she's going to go back to Omid and the sugars? I mean, where else is she going to go? She might think, sod it. Knee socks and tights as a girl. Oh, yeah, I remember that being a thing, actually. I do remember that being a thing in the early 80s. Lots of the sixth formers did that. Gillian
Knee
Anderson.
socks and
Is
socks.
she English? No way. Well, in that case, I know I'm not American, but she does a damn fine American accent in the what's it called? The Scully and Mulder thing. What was it called?
X-Files.
Yeah, X-Files. Fucking hell, I never knew that. Well, no wonder she sounds bloody,
Imogen's in them.
bloody English. Hello, Imogen. Oh, damn that one. I think I'm getting behind on the comments now.
Oh, you missed that. Comments.
I did see her.
Sorry, Moj.
I did see her.
Go up a bit, up a bit more.
For Audrey. Audrey British, right? Oh, wow. How come that's showing up? I don't do super chats.
I do.
Thank you very much, Sue. You shouldn't spoil him. You can buy some more crumpets with that.
I can.
Someone's had plenty of crumpets today. Right, who was born in Chicago? I think I've missed that one.
It was.
Kim Cattrall. Is Kim Cattrall married into royalty? I love that woman. And I was never into Sex in the City. I love the film Mannequin. Best film ever. In fact, I might watch that tonight. It's on YouTube.
Mannequin.
I love Mannequin. I used to watch it over and over and over and over again when I was about 17.
Oh.
Kelly Riley, who played Beth in Yellowstone. What a great actress. Now, is she the girl with long red hair? I know, because I love her, and she's British and devastatingly gorgeous. You know what I mean? She's been in detective shows. She's British. Really, really red hair. She's got quite an aristocratic, long, thin nose. She's in Yellowstone. You know Kevin Costner, Yellowstone?
I don't want to.
I think that's who they're talking about. The girl who plays his daughter.
Okay.
That's what I'm watching, The Fall, because it was on TV years ago. I think we were in the UK then. And I only saw a couple of episodes, and it was one of those shows. Then I go back the next week, and it's not on. And I thought, oh, bloody hell, because it's kind of Prime Suspect. And I love Helen Mirren and all the Prime Suspect. Well, I just discovered The Fall is on Netflix. So I was up till about 4 a.m. watching them.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Oh, right. Audrey was born in Belgium and spent the war there. She and her family suffered under the Nazis. I had no idea.
I didn't know that either.
Audrey was also Dutch. She worked as a
Kim
teenager.
Cattrall was born in Liverpool, and says.
Who?
Go up a bit.
Kim Cattrall.
Hang on, up there. Kim Cattrall was born in Liverpool. That's Lynn.
No way. You're in good company there then.
So was I.
Do you know who they're talking about?
No.
Really?
I'm not into Hollywood, am I? I don't know no one.
Bear with me, guys. For a minute.
Just gonna getting a picture up now. I might know her by a picture. No.
Graham, you do know who she is.
No.
Oh, let's try a younger one.
If she's a scouser, then, you know, fine.
She was a mannequin, look.
I've never watched.
You don't remember that? Yes, you have. Look.
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's the old Paul.
Philistine. Just missed that. Poor King Charles, what is he going to do with all that tax money he gets? We should feel sorry for him. He has cancer. He gets the best doctors, though. Did you see that video of him having I think we need the second part of that. Actually, King Charles gets the same doctors Graham had. That I can tell you for sure. And so do billionaires, and so do members of the public. It's the National Health Service, and those cancer doctors. We know exactly who they are.
Yeah, they're doing stuff all the
So
time. So they pick those people. There's a team that do it all.
Yeah.
So if you had that problem that I had.
And yeah, I get your point about they are wealthy, but I think they suffer in other ways. Foxy, I'm not keen on Sex in the City, but since you're a New Yorker, Susan, is it a bit racy for you, Foxy? It is. It was for me, actually. That's why I never got into it, because the first episode I watched, the girls were all at lunch and they just started talking about sex, and I'm not into that sort of thing. I'm like Wally. I'd rather have a roast dinner. Despite the fact there are rumours I'm a prostitute on X. Not a particularly successful one, I can tell you.
Well,
thank you very much, Princess Carol, on behalf of Graham. So I just saw another. It's a pleasure to do the Christmas lives. You guys really do. You keep us company. I know you think we're keeping you company, but if you weren't here, we'd be on the sofa now, monging out, wouldn't we? And just
watching Columbo or something like that.
Bit of dribble coming down the side of our mouth.
No, the detectives are finished. What we were watching, Murdoch, and it's the French ones are on now.
Oh, I know. Where on earth?
I don't know why they show programs in French in southern Spain here, because I don't know any French people that live down here.
No, I don't.
I mean, there must be some, but I mean.
Have you seen those magnificent men in their flying machines?
A long time ago.
Wasn't that Tony Curtis?
Can't remember who was in it. Alan Bombast was in it from Jitty Bang Bang, wasn't he? The Kaiser. And yeah, they were always nobbling each other's planes, weren't they? It was an air race. And, yeah, I've seen it, but many, many years ago.
You may go private, but often your treatment is simply speeded up and will likely take place in the NHS. Exactly. For example, Graham, when he went, he was treated as a private patient because he's always worked and paid tax in Gibraltar. Gibraltar is self-sufficient from the UK. They have a thing called the GHA, but they don't do major...
It's NHS, but it's separate department.
It's not connected at all, Graham. Not connected at all. Gibraltar is completely...
Well, they've only got one hospital, and there's only so much they can do in the hospital. If there's anything complicated, they send people to London for the operations, and they fly them back.
And
yeah.
So all patients from Gibraltar that come through the GHA are private patients, and that's why they get treated faster. Might seem a little unfair, but we paid very fucking high tax in June for that, and there's only 30,000 of us.
Yeah.
And he did 14 years of tax.
National insurance.
First time he met the consultant said, "How long have you lived in Gibraltar?" And he said, 14 years. He said, "I don't think so. You've never been to the doctor." And he said, "Yeah, I moved down here in 2010, bought the boat in 2007. And the doctor went, 'My God, you're not a crybaby, are you? Well, that's it. It's going to be all bells and whistles. We're doing a lot of full works for you.'" And he cleared all the paperwork. He just couldn't believe it. None of us have
Never been sick. Well, no.
Oh,
You know, I've been lucky.
we've been
really,
lucky. Yeah, we've been lucky.
until now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could spend your whole life being lucky, couldn't you? And then one day you get hit by a bus.
Yes.
And that's that, isn't it?
Yes.
Life is not fair. Fair's got nothing to do with it.
But the NHS is a really, really great service. I think it's an administrative problem, maybe. And I think, don't they have an NHS czar now who's going to look into where the money goes and stuff?
The first thing you got to do when you get into government, and I'm not doing politics, I don't do politics, okay, but the first thing you got to do is establish how big your population is and how much it's projecting to grow or shrink in the next 5 years.
I think you're treading on a landmine.
Work it from there as to how many things you need to cover it all.
Graham, I think
Anyway, I'll leave it there.
there's a bit of a debate about boats and influx and population.
I know. I'm not going to step on that mine. I'm just saying.
Especially as we live in an area where we're a limited
What
source of.
I seem to see, and I'll make a very quick point, is that the population has outgrown the facilities, the services.
Peter Egan is making a great point, because Graham and I often debate about this. The Crown Estates, they bring in phenomenal money. It's Peter's saying here, oh, he donated an extra 250 million a year. The King, not Peter Egan. Yes, that's right. And they give all of the money to the government, and then the government give them back. I think I'm right, Peter, it's about 15%, isn't it? The government give back 15% of the money so that the royal family can cover the cost of maintenance and staff, which is phenomenal. It's a bit like us. If you've got a job and you give all of your wages to the government, and the government only give you 15% back, and then they want you to run on a budget.
Well,
So thank you, Peter.
They did that
Thank
deal
you.
years ago, I think, because otherwise the king would have to pay for everything himself. And so we did a deal with the government. Look, we'll give you a big heap of cash and you deal with it. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
There's a lot more to it than that. A lot more.
That's
to
the
it.
brief version of it. Yes, we're all in black together.
Yeah, we've just got in from cat burgling, cradle to grave. Yeah, that I think that theory has kind of gone these days, hasn't it? Really, I'm still waiting for larcoscopy to see if I have endometriosis. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I hope they do sort you out. Oh, Foxy, my goodness, you must type really fast.
100 words a minute, Foxy, no?
Yeah, yes, I agree, Jeanette. It gives me the creeps as well. Plus, it's not always 100% honest, is he? Didn't he say that Harry and Meghan hadn't helped with finding freedom, and then we found out? The IRS just keep 40% of my husband's Christmas bonus. Oh my God, really? Holy shit. Holy shit. You might as well leave the country. Good grief. Are you all new to the channel, Melanie? Well, buckle up.
Hello, Melanie. Nice to see you.
We don't have a particular style like some YouTubers. They have a, I don't know, like a thing. They do things the same way all the time. This is more of a sort of a diary. So you never know. It's potluck, whether we're in a good mood or a bad mood.
Yes.
I'm on benefits, and most of mine goes to council, but not so happy bunny with a certain government taking heat allowance away. Who needs heat anyway? Yeah, who needs heat anyway? Honest to God, I don't know how you guys cope. I was talking to Trevor about our electricity bills here in Spain. They're really small. I don't understand why. Obviously, your country's colder if you're in the UK, but all the same, I think we pay £40 a month or something for electricity on this big house. jacuzzi, oven, all included.
Yeah.
We pay more on the boat because it's a marina situation. So
I think you're getting ripped off in the UK.
why is energy so expensive in the UK? That I don't understand. Yes, welcome to all newbies. Welcome. But some people might not want to subscribe. They just dip their toe in the water and think, oh, I'll think about this one. Are you going to be live with Duchess of North Sussex? Is she live tonight? Shit, I'm not treading on her toes, am I? I had no plans to. Because when she does a live, she's got a purpose. And
she went live the other night, so I don't think she'll be going live.
If she's got evidence, if she's unearthed something, if she's found something, then she
I haven't seen anything. Pop up.
Gardeners at shouting at gardeners at Highgrove. Charles would stand on the porch and shout orders at his gardeners through a megaphone. Have you worked there by any chance? I have heard he's got a bit of a temper, but I mean, nobody's perfect.
I heard he's got a garden full of busts of himself.
He has, I've seen it.
People keep giving him busts. Hey, I brought another bust, and he goes, "Oh, marvelous, another bust. I put it in my garden of busts." So he's got a whole section of his garden full of busts of himself, looking in different directions. And the other
hello, Angela.
harpists follow him around the garden playing the harp. I don't know if that's true or just a malicious rumor, but that's what I heard. What? In answer to the question, I don't know when Jen is doing that. I pay $447 US a month in Florida. Aren't they on the same latitude as us? Two-bedroom, Florida.
What?
We're on the same latitude as Las Vegas.
Well, I mean, in power.
So Florida should be warmer than here. If it's lower down, shouldn't it?
Are they artificially putting the price of energy up? Environmental, global warming stuff.
Well, the electricity company don't own the wires anymore. The wires going to your house, mate. Someone else owns them. You got to rent them. That's not us.
I have a little 2-bed cottage and they took $450 last month. Oh my God.
That's not right.
No wonder this is a hot potato.
That's not right. We've got a wood burner. And we pay about €140 for a ton of wood, and it lasts over a month.
But then
it depends how much of it you burn, doesn't it?
I think in the UK, Fiona, a single person in a semi, I was paying £320 a month. Guys, this can't be. You can't do that. You have to find another way. You have to switch. You can switch your energy company to one abroad. Don't buy from. God, do they have import duty?
They must do because the UK's outside the EU now. So they used to be in Brighton. They used to buy electricity from France because they've got nuclear generators and it costs them nothing. And they used to sell it.
I mean, that is criminal. That's what my grandma called daylight robbery. That is criminal. My electricity in the winter is about $230 a month, and I hardly use the heating.
That's not right.
Something is not right, guys. You're being ripped off by energy companies left, right, and centre, and America. This cannot be.
Sidetracking for a moment, Jodie says, no, it's not live tonight.
Oh, right. I mean, good God. My DT gas is about $145 a month, give or take. I mean, even in our marina, we were talking about the marina this summer, weren't we? Because obviously they charge in a different way. They charge more expensive.
They've got meters for all boats, and so they're selling you the electricity for a little bit more than they pay for it. And even that, when we were really gaining it, it was only like 90 euros. 90 euros a month. That's for water and electricity on the boat, and I think that's quite steep because I mean it's a much smaller area and we're not heating it, but we had the ice maker banging away morning, noon, and night, didn't we? Yeah. And the fans and stuff. And we've got had 3-4 gaming PCs on it and the Starlink, and we are kicking the arse out of it. But even that is only 90 euros a month, and the house, as I say, is very, very cheap. It was really expensive. They used to hit us with a massive bill, like 400 or 500 euros in the January, and they do it to us every year. They did it about 3 years. So I phoned them up, and they said,
oh, we're not charging you enough the rest of the year, so we just bulk up on the January. And I said, oh, fair enough. There's an explanation, I don't mind. And then they said, oh, we've got you on an estimado, and it doesn't appear you're using as much energy as we thought. And I said, well, I've got a jacuzzi, I've got an electric oven, fridge, freezer, and the kettle. But I said, in the winter, the heating is a wood burner, and they sent a fella around and adjusted it. And it's about 40, 50 euros a month now. And that is for the whole, it's a big house. And as I say, some of the people who are in the house, they've got the water heater going on the jacuzzi. They leave it on, you know, morning, noon and night. You're having to buy propane now. Well, yes, that's what I'd do if I was in your shoes, guys. I wouldn't tolerate those prices. Well, it's unspeakable. Unspeakable. How can you? Good God, I had no idea. Oh, don't want to talk about chainsaws and accidents. It's a monopoly. You don't have much of an option. Well, you know what they do in this country? I'll tell you now, Spanish. They all take to the fucking streets with pots and pans and they bang them and they block all the fucking roads and they go fucking crazy until Pedro Sanchez goes, all right, people, don't storm us. And he fixes it. They don't half kick off in this country and France. You Brits and Americans, sometimes I think you're a little bit too polite for your own good. We have a wood burner but pay hundreds and no cold weather payments now. And now they want to outlaw the wood burners, don't they? I heard if a cow farts, it's like the equivalent of 20 cars or something. My gran pays nearly £200 a month. So if people don't have heating allowance and they have to pay this and they're elderly and they're on a pension, they're going to freeze to death. Is that going to hit the headlines? UK elec and gas are the highest in Europe. Well, yeah, what's going on there? I think someone's doing quite well out of that. There are statistics saying that UK fuel bills most expensive in Europe. Is that 1,104 for April, May, and June? Oh my God. Well, I've been here. I've been living in Spain. Life here on the continent it's always been different to the UK. I mean, that was one of the things I noticed when I first went on the run. I was very scared of Europe. I thought, I don't speak French, I don't speak any other language. And the first thing I discovered was that food is much cheaper, the lifestyle is much freer. There was less bureaucracy then. And that it was more relaxed. It wasn't like there was someone on your back. You don't get that here. You do to it a little bit. There's bureaucracy everywhere you go. But no, when we left the UK, we were living on a boat in the UK and we had a cab heater, like in a lorry. It cost about £1,000. So it's expensive to install, but I mean, that's an option, guys. I'll have to ask Graham when he comes back because they run off diesel. And obviously it was a boat. So we had the two vents blowing into the front and back cabins and we were warm as toast. I think it cost us about £5 a night in diesel. And we thought that was quite expensive. So, but what you do with the cab heater, it's quite a small unit. It's like that. And then you have ducting, and this thing blows down the ducting, so it's directional. You can have it filtered into each room. I mean, I would do something like that if there's no way I would, or I'd freeze to death. I don't fucking care. I would not pay that. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to. I'm not sure I've ever earned enough money in my life to pay the kind of bills. £152 a month for gas and electricity. Well, I mean, even that is phenomenal. When I lived in the UK, I mean, years and years and years ago, when I had a one-bedroom flat, I paid that something like that, a quarter for gas and electricity. £45 a month and gas is 37. One-bedroom flat. Well, I had no idea. I'm getting behind on the comments now. In Lisbon, once they put up the price of the toll bridge, people sat their cars on the bridge And well, yeah, Annie, yeah, they're just down here. It's not tolerated. Politicians down here, there's a limit, right? And then in France, they're talking Bastille. They had a bad experience a few hundred years ago.
Remember the lorry drivers in France?
Yeah, oh yeah, they'll just down tools, block everything, fuck you, nothing's
The
happening.
motorway, you couldn't get on or
Yeah.
off the motorway.
Yeah.
The articulated lorries are just parked there. The whole country comes with stands still. That's what the French are like. But they won't do that in England. They won't.
Oh my God. I mean, it's shocking. Starmer approved extra increases this winter at the same time he took away. I did hear about the pensioners thing, but I mean, like I say, I think it was David Cameron, wasn't it, who introduced heating energy for elderly, I can't think what you call it, like vouchers to, we bought heat pump. Ah, yes, I've heard about them. Do you think that maybe it's a little bit to try and force you guys to do that? I mean, how can anyone save up for a heat pump if they're paying? I mean, you're going to be behind all the time that you're paying electricity bills. The government must offer some sort of assistance.
It can't be a wood burner. You know, men have been burning wood since the Stone Age to keep warm. And they're trying to ban them now. All the bad for the environment.
The other thing, Miss Wee Lassie, is not everyone can have a wood burner. You know, you live in a block of flats.
Yeah.
What you going to do? It's
no, you can't.
It's very, very
not
difficult.
Realistic, is it?
No. They're now telling me that are charging me, and I need to give them 20,100 a year. That can't be right. I think you must have put an extra zero on the end. We have a similar issue in the US. Government will give £40 a month increase to Social Security, then increase the cost of Medicare. Yeah. Heat pumps aren't an option either where we live. Log burner is the only option. Oh, you get your hot water from it. That is a good idea. We haven't gone that far because we're in a hot country, so cold showers most of the year we prefer. But that's shocking. I can't believe it. We're being pushed into kicking off. Well, it sounds like it.
You were saying they were handing out all the happy tabs to everyone to make everyone calm down.
Well, yeah, it seemed to me back in sort of 2003 when we went back to the UK, I was really shocked that pretty much everyone we knew had been put on antidepressants by the GP. I mean, people have known all my life. I'm like, why are you on them? Oh, doctor said it made me feel better. And I said, I think they're trying to suppress the population somehow. I think they're trying to get everyone in a, not concentrating on what the hell's going on. Over here, heating pumps are breaking down. Do they live outside, where they could have a burst pipe, or I suppose you insulate them? I'm not allowed a wood burner. It's a housing association. Well, yeah. If you're in a housing association, you've got to have what they say, really, haven't you?
Moving is the only option, isn't it? We used to live in a caravan.
Yeah,
and it was warm as toast.
Oh,
Honestly, God, it was warm as toast. Cost nothing to heat it.
Well, now I understand the stories. People have bought caravans to put on their driveway, and it was your brother said that. The fellas have moved out of the house and into the caravan for the winter.
Because it costs a lot less. Everything costs less.
Oh.
And they keep him. The house is freezing. I remember my dad, and it must have been, what year would that be? It would be late 70s. It was quite a decent sized house. It must have been a 4-bedroom house, but we all moved into one bedroom.
You close all the doors, don't you?
He had the central heating turned up, but the radiator was only open in the one room.
Yeah.
And it was on full. So the rest of the house was freezing, and we all just stayed huddled up in one room for the whole winter because he couldn't afford to heat the house. Not at all. But so that one room was nice and warm. It was a comfortable temperature, but
exactly, little lady. That's the way to be. Is in a camper van. I used to fill the coal bucket for the coal fire. Are you serious, Trevor? Or are you making that up?
No, coal fires. We have coal fires. I guess he's talking when he was a kid living at his mum.
Well, actually, there's a very well-known council estate in Brighton called Molescombe.
Yes.
And I've known loads of people in Molescombe. They're gorgeous houses, gorgeous. And they all had coal fire. So cosy and really nicely laid out. But bit by bit, they used to get their coal from coral.
Well, everyone had a coal fire at one time, and then
We
the
did.
smog came along, and everything, all the buildings went black, didn't they? And everyone had bronchitis, you know. So I think getting rid of coal as a general fuel, it was a good thing, really, in the long run.
Right, okay. Not to be too political, but it's all intentional. I'm wondering. I'll tell you what doesn't cost £1,000 a month in fuel bills, is a glass of whiskey. you guys, if you didn't pay your heating bills, bug me. So you could buy malt whiskey, top class, most expensive in the world.
Seal yourself in one room with a heater.
Right, you will find that governments that privatise their energy are now able to hold the companies to account. We have here in Australia, when government owned it. Yes. Right, now I can squeeze out. I'll pour us both a Glenfiddich as we come.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's just terrific. I actually saw on TikTok, I was stunned. He's quite, what did you do with it?
I just put wood on the fire. I think it's in the kitchen.
Right. You got, tell me about the tea lights to cook an English breakfast.
Oh yeah, people come up with some wonderful ideas. If you look on YouTube, people have they've used a load of tea lights in a little circle. I mean, army do this with fire lights, and they boil water in a nest tin and things, and it's very, very inexpensive.
Yes, just like 6 tea lights to cook.
Well, there's a thing called a penny stove. You can look up the penny stove, and it's just a Coca-Cola can that someone's cunningly fashioned into a stove, put holes in it, and put some rock wool inside, some paraffin, and it actually burns. You can put match to it, and it burns, and you can have a thing above it with a pan, and you can actually boil water on a penny stove, and it costs virtually nothing. You know, there's all different ways. It depends how desperate you are, I suppose, isn't it? But to make ends meet, you know, it really does.
Well, yeah.
But it can be, you know, survival, basic survival, you know.
That's outrageous, though. I mean, it's inhumane for your energy bills to be that ludicrously.
Gertie Rood's on.
Gertie Rood is in the comments. Gertie's not feeling terribly well. She's got a bit of flu, possibly some latest virus that's doing the rounds. Used to fit those diesel cab heater. How much did it cost? And I beg if you don't give them every detail.
I used to put 5 litres in it a day on the boat.
Right, so that
and
was...
we had it cranked up full when the kids were little.
Yeah.
And the boat was warm as toast.
We were the only boat in the marina with no snow.
Yeah, but you know, in those days you could get red diesel, which was tax-free, so you weren't paying the road traffic duty on it. I don't know if they have red diesel anymore.
I don't know. Probably not by the sounds of it.
You can get it for boats, and that was really good. But don't forget, the boat was quite a small area. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you put a diesel heater in a house, even if you could get hold of red diesel, not sure how effective it would be. Depends on the size of your house. You know, the size of the room you're trying to heat.
I get what the lady means, or gentleman who just said they had candles one winter and you get the smoke all over the walls. But,
which I paraffin lights. I did. It was a wheeze of mine. I thought, well, people used to illuminate the house with smoke and soot and things, and the place stinks. And you think, no wonder they switched to electricity.
It wasn't just that, Graham. I mean, it was oily black stuff going up.
I suppose it depends on the grade of the paraffin. You could buy expensive paraffin. Maybe that might have made an improvement. I don't know. But it's not really a practical plan.
Anyway, guys, I think we're going to wind it up now. We said cheers to everybody.
Coming up. Oh, yes.
And I hope you're all wrapped up and keeping warm tonight.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Looking forward to it all.
I'm going to end up looking up ideas on the internet before tomorrow to tell you all, you know, we'll probably be like teaching people to suck eggs, but to just some way that you can keep warm without paying that. Oh, yes.
It does sound a lot. It does.
It's, well, look, just about everybody's been saying it. Everybody. That's the reason old buildings are being destroyed and new ones don't have one. We can cook, heat, water, with our fireplaces.
But don't forget the new houses they build have got a lot of things going for them the old houses didn't have. Like this house has not got any cavity wall insulation.
No.
This was built in the 1700s. They just built a wall and put a window in it and put a roof on the top. I mean, so there's no cavity wall insulation. And if we didn't live in a hot country,
Yeah.
or we tried to heat the house
It'd
up,
be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
and it was
Bloody
really
hell.
cold outside, you get condensation on the walls. I've actually seen that happen
Yeah.
in old pubs and things.
I mean, we light the fire now at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it just takes the edge off it. It's only a little wood burner, but I mean, if we don't have to start living inside a fridge, fucking hell. Anyway,
We couldn't get away with it because we live in a warm climate. I mean, people in the old days used to have houses the same as this in the UK, and they must have been a nightmare to live in, and that's why they knocked them all down and built new houses with cavity wall insulation and ceiling insulation, all kinds of stuff.
yeah. Well, we'll carry on talking about this tomorrow night. And
Beautiful housing. Look, Labour Party are building 5,000 new homes, aren't they?
I'm not sure that's the answer.
Allegedly, or was it 1.5 million?
As I've mentioned
1.5
before,
million, I'm sure that's what the figure was, they said.
as I've said before, I think the billionaires are going to come up with a solution and not the politicians. And Elon has already invented the $10,000 house, which is a little pod with everything in it. But there are other, we're really into that, flat pack houses and stuff. We're really, really interested in that.
Well, we saw it during the war, didn't we? With
Yeah.
the prefabs. All the people that got bombed out during the Blitz, they moved them into these prefabricated concrete houses that were only designed to last 10 years at the most. And people loved them. They thought they were fantastic. And there's still some around to this day. Who remembers the prefabs, as we used to call them?
Yeah, well, my mum
They were
does.
great, they were really popular, and you can do that these days,
That's what it's going to come to.
It's
Because
not a luxury house, it's a utility.
But you're really cozy. If you
Yeah,
think back to us living in the
Nothing wrong
caravan,
with them. Nothing
you've got
wrong
your
with
little kitchenette, the bed's right there, you've got everything just near you.
You had
It's-
hot running water, you had a
yeah,
bath,
yeah,
I mean,
fantastic.
fantastic.
And I don't understand, if it's a Labour government, I would have thought they would be really into that kind of thing. I don't know what kind of houses that Keir Starmer's building, so I'm talking out of my arse.
He's building generally just normal houses. Anyway,
Anyway,
I'll see you tomorrow with someone at the door.
thank you all very much for joining us. A good night, and may your God go with you.